We are on the test server today, and we are looking at the new weapon. Yes, it is what you guys have feared. Basically, it's a new mortar. This is like Mortars 2.0 with the fuse mortars. Let's take a look at them, though. We got the trip hazard function on this is the kind of standout. They did talk a little bit about this before in the devlog, but basically, if the warheads do not hit your target, they will drop a times or motion sensitive like mine, basically like a cheetah mine for a short window of time, about 5 seconds, and then they will dissipate. But basically, this thing is better than mortars in pretty much every way. If we look at its overall stats, and I'll compare it with the 10 that I have on my other arm here, damage per magazine 147k, damage per shot 24k. I do think it's interesting that the fire rate is listed as infinity. It's probably going to be the same as mortars. It might just be an error here on the test server, but yeah, the magazine size is the same, the optimal range, that kind of stuff is the same, the projectile speed. The damage radius is actually bigger to start with, and it does have, I think, an implant related to that. And then the reload speed is shorter, and it also tells you our detonation time, which doesn't change. So if we go over to the Rocket Mortar 10s, you'll see that the damage per magazine is higher. The other one was 147k. This is only 98k. The damage per shot is 16k here versus the 24k. So yeah, already damage is looking better. The reload speed is better. The damage radius is higher. I mean, really everything on this is going to be weaker than this weapon. So it is basically a better version of that weapon, which is pretty crazy. So that is something to consider. And then also the idea of how the implants will work, and we'll get into that. But I wanted to just show my test examples or test footage that I did of this at its base level, and then we'll do a max build as we usually do. So here we go. Okay. This map should be interesting for this. So I have it set up with the 10 on both sides just to see how they compare. I do have the radius on both. Interestingly enough, the fuse mortars do not have a damage implant, but their actual damage is higher at base by a decent amount, so I don't really think it's necessary. Let's see if either one of these hit. I don't really know which one actually hit, though. That's the problem, since I fired both. I don't know why I did that. It does seem like the fuse mortars shoot out a little slower, which I don't know if that gives them better or worse placement. But it is interesting to note. We will have to see for future gameplay how that goes. No, get away from me. Somebody save me. Okay. You take care of him, please. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it honestly, I mean, it feels exactly like mortars do. I wonder how this will do hitting that barrier. Yeah, it doesn't take out a ton. But I do know mortars, when you like max them out, and if you use a good build on them, like Brick House or Stalker, they can take out a huge chunk of shields. Nice. Or a barrier. So I would imagine once you get these, maybe not the 10s, but like the higher variants, you should be able to take out a shield with the volleys, especially if you're using one of those mechs. But I do wonder if once we get into 12s, and gosh, I would imagine they're probably going to make 16s of this. 16s could probably just take out a shield. And maybe even, I don't know if it would be a single volley, but... So you could see there that was a little bit of delayed damage. I'm quite sure, too, the warheads on this... will do the same damage whether the warhead is like coming down hitting them or if it's in the ground, just because they're the same level of damage. So that 24k per shot would be the same amount. The difficulty for me in calculating is because this does like side and back damage, so I don't really know what the actual numbers are between the two, but I'm pretty sure it's the same between them. That should hit good. Nice, nice. That was the regular mortars, and those are the... Yeah, we got both of them. That's the fuse mortars. I do think that these... I mean, they play very similar, of course. That these are comparable, at least in, like, how you play. I actually wonder if the fuse mortars will be slightly harder to hit your targets with, even though it does more damage and has more radius. But it does have a radius implant, so I do think it's still going to do well But we'll try that out. We'll max it out and put on all the good implants to see how even the 10 does. I still feel like it's going to do okay. Pretty darn good, honestly. Because I feel like it performs well here. So, I mean, this is against AI, of course, not players. I do think that when you get into players, it's going to be more interesting, especially as you think about endgame. There we go. There we go for that one. Yeah, we'll try maxing this out, putting it on something else, and see how it does. Here, obviously, in its natural state, it's doing well. So, yeah, still good, but obviously this is a weapon you're going to want to try to get dual 10s of, or, like, do something higher level build than just of itself. You know, so let's just see how it does if we max it out, see if it's even comparable for endgame. Yeah, here.
अब अगर तुम लोग नए हो तो सब्सक्राइब करो, वो जो लाल वाला बटन है उसके साथ स्कैम करो या फिर महफिल जमाओ, मुझे नहीं पता, बस क्लिक हो जाना चाहिए। अब मैं भी जा रहा हूं, मुझे पार्क में स्टंट्स मारने जाना है। बाय।